Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Asher Marketing Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Asher Agency, a full-service marketing agency with offices in Indiana, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C. For nearly 50 years, Asher has helped our clients tell their stories, reach customers and prospects, and stand out from the crowd. To learn more about how we can help your company, visit asheragency.com or contact us at hello@asheragency.com. My guest is Mel Hasler. Mel, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, thanks for joining us. You come very highly recommended from Emily Land. So tell us, let's talk about Emily and make her uncomfortable. How do you know Emily, and what is your connection to her?
Well, first of all, I adore Emily. I'm so glad that she set this up. But she is a wonderful person to have in your life.
Yeah.
But my fiance lives north of Fort Wayne. I'm actually from southern Indiana, but my fiance is cousins with her current boyfriend.
Okay.
So I get to see her quite often because we're around Bennett a lot. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, she has been on the podcast herself at least twice, maybe three times. I think we did one of these with her, which is career path, all that stuff. And then she'll come on and do sort of a special episode, a very special episode about what's new in social media. So we're really glad to have her on our team. Well, and we're really glad to have you here, by the way.
Thank you.
So I want to start at the beginning, and you have a really interesting story because many of our guests, when we talk about career path, they kind of fumble their way through college and they land somewhere that they couldn't have predicted. But your career path kind of started very young. So tell us about that origin story and where you went from there.
Yeah, so I come from an agricultural background, so instilled very young age, practically born in a barn. But my family actually has an interesting section in the ag industry. We're an equine facility. We own and operate the Woods Equestrian Center. We do boarding, leasing, summer camps. We actually just became the home of the military caisson platoon.
Okay.
So if you ever see ginormous black horses in downtown Indy doing 4th of July parades, or we do a lot of funeral processions with the military.
Okay.
So that's a really fun new addition.
Wow.
But yeah, I grew up around horses. My grandpa's a horse trader. I got it from him.
Yeah.
And that kind of led me into rodeo, FFA, 4-H, all of the fun stuff. But I started rodeoing on a national level when I was in 6th grade.
Wow.
And did it all the way until I was a senior in high school.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, pretty fun background. Good way to grow up.
And Purdue University.
Yep. So I graduated, 2024, I think. So I've been out for almost 2 years.
Okay.
But I went there in ag communication.
Yep.
I just love talking to people, and I love agriculture. I said, what better way than ag comm?
Yeah.
So very much the creative side of marketing. And I really found my niche there in video production and a little bit of podcasting.
Yeah.
And then that led me to a career with now Keystone Cooperative. I started right out of school, and I'm on their marketing team.
Okay, so for those of us who don't know much about Keystone Cooperative, how would you describe the work that entity does, and what is your work within that? You can take those one at a time. Yeah.
So Keystone Cooperative is a farmer-owned cooperative, and we have 4 divisions of business.
Okay.
So we've got agronomy, so think your row crop farmers, corn, soybeans. When you get up into Michigan, they like their fruits and veggies. That's too much for me.
A lot of cherries and such. Yeah.
And then we have energy. We do propane and DEF. We do diesel, all types of things. We do things through Country Mark. So if you've ever seen that gas station, they're also a farmer cooperative, which is fun.
Okay.
And then we have grain. We have grain elevators. We buy grain off of our farmers, and we'll either send it out on the rails out west to feed cattle, or we work closely with Purina Pet Foods.
Yep.
And then what's the other one? Swine and animal nutrition. So we have contract swine growers, and they pretty much own the facility. We pay for the pigs. They raise them, and then we split the profits with them whenever we sell to Tyson. So very large spectrum that Keystone does, but still very, very local.
Okay, so is the mission of this organization, and I'm going to digress for a second. I mentioned this to you before we hit record, but I grew up outside of Boston, so my knowledge of the ag world is limited to being able to identify maybe a cornfield versus a soybean field, and that's about it. But from what you're telling me, it sounds like the mission of Keystone is to make things accessible to what otherwise would be independent farmers to give them access to things that would be hard to get on their own? Is that correct?
Yes, for the most part. Something that Keystone really prides ourselves on is the cooperative model. It's Keystone Cooperative, but it's the best business model for owners.
Yeah.
So our farmer members, they own and operate Keystone.
Okay.
We've got a farmer board of directors, and our farmers have a share of Keystone. I think they pay $5 in, and it's a one-time buy-in, and then they have voting rights. They own us. So everything that Keystone has and offers is pretty much for farmers. I mean, we do home heat, but it's to help grow their operation and give them an opportunity to buy all in one place. And then when they do their business through Keystone, at the end of the year, they either get a patronage check or they get equity that's put into a retirement fund. So if, let's say, you wanted to buy seed, instead of going to your local seed dealer, you went through Keystone to your seed dealer, you would get a return check at the end of the year. So it's really just, we're here for our farmers. We're owned and operated by our farmers, and it's our mission to have everything in one spot for them.
And I would imagine you have a board that's made up of some of these member owners that helps. My only relevant experience is for about 5 years. Very, very, very early in my career, I worked for an REMC, and it was a co-op. So,
same business model.
So I'm speaking a little bit of the same language. All right. So tell me about your role in ag communications in Keystone. What do you do with your time at work?
Yeah, so I'm on the marketing team. We have a marketing team about 12, but I am our digital product marketing coordinator, which is a mouthful, so I just say I'm the digital girl.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you some questions out of ignorance, and feel free to call them ignorant because you're probably right. But I would imagine that digital media is something that is maybe newer in the ag industry, not entirely new, but some of that because of bandwidth in rural communities. Is that at all true? And if it is true, how are you kind of breaking through that with what you're trying to accomplish?
So on the digital aspect, I mean, a lot of what I do is social media and emails. And that aspect, I mean, I feel like everybody's kind of flexed and moved. I mean, obviously, this is my first job. I'm only 2 years into this aspect of the industry. It has been a little bit of a learning point for our farmer members but there are also a lot of farms that are overturning to the next generation right now. So making that transition from maybe grandpa down to grandson. So being able to work with people in all different generations. But we have one app that we run everything through for our farmer members. And I mean, it's still the same. I don't know if you use Keystone Propane, but we have our Connect app that's for like our home heat customers and whatnot. And a lot of our customer communication is email. And then it seems like everybody's on Facebook these days.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely changed even in the past 10 years. There's a family farm operation not far from here. It's in Roanoke, Seven Sons Farm. And they do a lot of organic farming. And they have some of the most sophisticated digital marketing that I've ever seen. They reeled me in as a customer in part because I clicked a button and then all of a sudden they were everywhere in my, in my feed. So good for them. But, and certainly I think the world is changing where that's becoming more common, certainly, and almost unavoidable for businesses. So what are some examples of the content you're creating, and what are you trying to accomplish with that content?
So for internal communications, I do our agronomy newsletter that goes out every Tuesday and our all employees email newsletter that goes out every Thursday. So that's just communicating for the all employee email if there are changes in benefits or if there's a message from the CEO or events coming up. And then with our agronomy newsletter, that's just giving our salespeople material to take to the farm gate. So if there's a new financing offer, we send them sheets and information that they can take straight to the farmer. So just keeping them up to date on crop nutrition and tariff changes and crop protection, new seed deals. So that's a lot of the internal communication that I do. And then I do all of our video production, which sometimes is external, sometimes internal. But most of it's for social media. But with social media, every platform we have is different audiences. So it really depends.
For sure. So what are you trying to do to cut through the clutter there's so much out there now. And, I hear one of the complaints I hear frequently from some of my internal communication friends is, we put it out there 6 times and people are saying, you never told us that, right?
Yeah.
And we all know today people are very distracted. You can't send a message just once and think that it cuts through. What are you doing to respond to that? How are you making sure your message is a little more likely to be heard?
So with internal communication, we've dealt with that a lot recently because there's just new information all the time.
Sure.
There's so many little changes going on and really trying to keep our people informed. So something that we just implemented, we're coming up on 1 year, is I do an internal podcast called Keystone Commute, your weekly pit stop for all things from the cooperative.
I think you said that before.
Every Friday morning. So I pretty much just take the newsletter, turn it into a fun, entertaining script.
That's great.
We have a lot of people that are on the roads all the time, whether they're driving a grain truck or a propane truck. And during busy season, sometimes it's just hard to sit down at your computer.
For sure.
And so we text it out to all of our employees every Friday morning, and they can listen. And whenever they're done, if they go, I want to know more about the benefits that are coming out. We got open enrollment right now. So
that's great.
Then they can go to their email and see whatever they need to see. But we've had some really positive feedback on that, especially since, people are just in their vehicles all the time. And,
for sure. Well, and I love that you're going where they are instead of trying to get them to come to you, which I think is one of the challenges sometimes internal communicators make. Talk to me a little bit about your team. You mentioned 12 folks. What are the other folks doing, and how does that complement your work?
Yeah, so, oh my goodness, our team just keeps growing. So we've got my manager, Lauren. She oversees everything that's happening on the marketing team, and she works a lot in our agronomy department. So a lot of the campaigns that are going out specifically for agronomy, that's Lauren's main thing. And then my coworker, Katie, she does a lot of the campaigns on the energy side, so kind of equivalent with Lauren in the agronomy division. And then Hannah, she is our design gal. So anything you see branded Keystone, Hannah brands it by scratch. She makes it. She's just so good at what she does. And then David, he's kind of like our liaison between corporate and the field. So he's on the road all the time, just going and talking to people at our branches, talking to farmers, just kind of that liaison.
So kind of the voice of Keystone to the farmer and the voice of the farmer to the cooperative?
More so like our branches, like the people that are working boots on the ground.
Got it.
And then we've got our customer service team, which is kind of a branch off of our marketing team. Our director of membership, Courtney, she oversees them. She's the one that's working with the patronage checks. And if a farmer has a question about equity, that's who you go to. And then we have a really cool program that we just implemented 2 years ago. It's called SEED, Securing Experience in Employee Development. And we've got 2 gals that head that up, Sarah and Caitlin. And it's for graduating high school FFA seniors that don't want to go to college. So it's kind of apprenticeship. It's a 2-year program. They get to go through every division and decide if they want to stay.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, it's been a really cool program.
And how long has that been in place?
I think we're coming up on our 3rd class this spring. So about 2, close to 3 years.
All right, so maybe starting to see the result of that. Yeah, that's great. So I'm going to throw you a curveball, something I didn't prepare you for, but I'm curious because your responses are telling me you're pretty sophisticated about the marketing world. How, if at all, are you dealing with AI? Is that a factor in your work, or is it something that you're not concerned with yet?
So for me, someone that I forgot to mention on our team, this goes back to, she's like our built-in AI. Her name's Lindsay. She's the director of public relations. She is like the voice of Keystone because everything that we write and post is authentic. I do use AI to get some ideas with all the content we're trying to produce and push out 6 different platforms, 6 different audiences. I lean on it quite a bit for just ideas to keep things fresh. But everything that is in the voice of Keystone is Lindsay. So, people on my team in other roles might have something different to say. I really lean on it to try to help me come up with the creatives or even do research on social media engagements for our competitors. That kind of stuff.
Well, sorry to spring that on you. It's something we've been talking about, obviously, quite a bit in the last couple of years here at Asher, and it's something I'll probably bake into the questions and better prepare future guests for that question. But no, it is a factor, right? And I think what you said is very well said. said, in that it informs the work, but it's not the work. It's a tool you're using to create assets, but, it's the most important part is the unique voice of the brand.
Yeah, and it being just authentically Keystone. So whenever you look at some of our content, you can go, oh, there's someone on the screen writing that. That's not AI, which AI is a great tool. And I'm sure that as it advances, we're going to incorporate it more.
Sure.
But I know for my position specifically, there are days that I try to use AI and I'm like, this thing is useless.
Yeah.
This is not helping me at all.
Yeah, and there are, I don't know that it's even, but there are times when I thought it was going to save time and it more than offsets some of the time I've gained from using it elsewhere.
Yeah.
So tell me, Mel, what's your favorite thing about your work? And then what's the biggest challenge in your work?
So I think my favorite thing about my work is, first of all, I'm passionate about marketing and what I'm doing, but the fact that I do it for a company that I believe so strongly in.
Yeah.
It's so different. Even, my internships are mostly my work experience, and I loved my internships and where I worked, but Keystone is just such a different company, and we have such a story to tell.
Yeah.
Owned by the farmers. We're coming up on our 100 years. It's such a cool company to work for, and it's that passion for agriculture that I have and passion for telling the story of agriculturalists.
Well, and that really shines through, and I mean this very genuinely, that you're saying things with a genuine smile, and it feels like your work is almost sort of who you are, not just what you do, and that's great. That's great. What's the biggest challenge, the flip side of that?
Oh, going back to the fact that I'm not from a row crop family. Sometimes when you grow up, it's just automatic. It just comes to you. And this is something that my boss has really had to help me with, is sometimes she'll bring things to me and I'm like, Lauren, I don't understand what that means. I'm a livestock kid. I don't know what we're talking about. So I think that's been the biggest learning curve is, we're agronomy and swine and grain, and I didn't grow up in that aspect of the ag industry. So that's been a huge learning curve. You really don't understand the depth of agriculture until you go in it and you're like, whoa, it takes some learning and it takes some time.
Well, and respecting other people's knowledge and being honest about what you know and what you don't know. When I was very young and I started working at the REMC, you can imagine, I literally moved from Greater Boston to somewhat rural Indiana with just no in between. There I was. And I'm sure the first couple of years at the REMC, there were things I said and things I didn't know that people wondered why I was there. So it's admirable that a lot of us come to that at a later age when we're like, okay, it's okay to say I don't know, but it sounds like you got there pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I almost had to. You just can't really fake not knowing anything. So it's definitely been a learning curve.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I think that's part of what makes it enjoyable, though. And it's, one of the reasons I love my job is I almost have to learn something new every day. And part of it is working with really smart people like Emily, who's taught me a lot about social media. And some of it is just trying to stay relevant.
It is, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so let me pivot to a few quick hit questions. Your answers do not have to be short, though.
Okay.
You can take this wherever you want to go.
Well, I like to talk, so be careful.
All right, you and me both, so we could be here a long time. So tell me what you think your best career advice is. You've had some success early on in your career. What have you learned in that, if you were sharing something, maybe with someone who's just getting started or trying to figure out where they want to go? What would you say is the key to having a fulfilling and successful career?
Something that I had to learn a little bit, but I already had a little bit of passion for, was storytelling. No matter what you're marketing, whether you're marketing a feeling or an experience or a product, you can always market it with a story, a good, compelling story. So, that's also why I love my job, because telling the story of the cooperative is just, it's so fun.
Well, and it's one thing that is, it's the thing that's hardest for someone else to duplicate, right? And I love that you touched on that, because I tell my clients all the time, no one really cares until they understand how your product or service affects people. And one of the best things you can do is tell stories about the intersection between your product or service and those people. And it's going to be really hard for your competitor to duplicate that.
Yeah.
So what's one of your favorite stories you've been able to tell in your work? Does anything specific come to mind? I'll give you an example. I mean, in the work that I do at Asher, I spend a lot of time with colleges and universities. And I really love working with students to hear, what their goal was in pursuing a degree and how that institution enabled that and what that made possible. And it's always really personal. For some of them, it's about being an example for their kids. For some of them, it's about, their family history had never included college. They're the first in their family to go to college. And hearing that sort of trajectory change as a result of that education, that's always a fun story to tell. So I don't know if I gave you enough time there to think about it.
I think I've got it.
Okay.
So we just started doing this internally. We do town halls. That's always been a thing. But we started doing something called a road show. And it was to kind of incorporate different locations because we've got a huge footprint. We're Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan.
Okay.
So we have a location up in Malden, which if you don't know where that is, it's Valparaiso, itty bitty town outside of Valpo.
I nodded like I knew where it was. I had no idea.
It's one of those little towns, small but mighty. So we have a branch there. It's a grain facility, and they've got some load outs, which is fertilizer, we don't even have to talk about that, but it's a grain facility. And it started as a very small facility, small town. And one of the guys that came in as an applicator, which is a guy that comes and sprays chemicals on the field. And he ended up becoming manager, and he started building Malden from the ground up. And it's just a really cool story. His name's Brad, and he is just so wonderful, and he is so passionate about his location and his facility and the farmers they serve and the people that are around. So we did a town hall road show to Malden, and we did this really cool, fun little video about when Malden was established and how it's grown. And it's probably my most recent storytelling project, but it's the one that comes to mind because I mean, even just getting to put together that video and help produce it and edit it, and then seeing the team's reaction from Malden, just them being highlighted and their story being told. And it's just one of the many, many stories of our many, many locations. And it just really screamed they're local, they're passionate about what they do and the people that they serve. So,
well, I love that example. And the reason I put you on the spot is I think a lot of people, when I talk to them about storytelling, there's almost a disposition like, well, that's not for business. Storytelling is for children. But it really is a powerful tool. It's underutilized. You can throw all the stats at people that you want, but none of them are going to stick as well as a really well-told story. All right. So second quick hit question. What is a myth or misconception about your work that you want to clear up? Either something that is untrue, but people think it's true, or something that is underappreciated and you want to amplify it. It could be about the digital media world. It could be about the ag world. It could be about something else entirely.
So if I was going to talk about misconceptions in the ag industry, we might be here all day. So I'm going to pick a different topic. But so with Keystone, I don't know how many of our viewers will know who Keystone is. You've probably seen the Sunshine logo on a propane tank somewhere. But we recently, it was 2 years ago, right before I was hired, they had a large merger of 3 different cooperatives. And there was a lot of concern around the fact that even though we were the small local co-op, we were getting too big. And I mean, we service all the way down from Vincennes, Indiana to Traverse, Michigan to Zanesville, Ohio. So we have a large footprint and there's a lot of people that we serve. But the biggest misconception is that we're not local anymore, and we very much are. All of our branches are locally owned and managed. And so, I mean, like the manager at your local location could be your cousin's fiance or your brother's cousin. No, that doesn't even make sense. But anyway, it's all locally owned and managed. So, I mean, even though we are large and we are growing, all of our values are staying the same. We're still seriously local, and we're serving the people in your community. And the best way to reinforce that is to tell stories like the one you just mentioned. Okay. All right. One last quick hit question for you. What is a tool that you use in your work that helps you be more efficient and more effective? Can be digital, can be analog, can be something that people have heard of before, could be something that perhaps no one has heard of before. What's something that deserves a shout out? Well, I use a lot of different tools, and I won't lie to you, I jerry-rig a lot of stuff. Just trying to find that right, whether I'm like trying to pull it out of a video out of Premiere Pro and putting it into Canva because I like the fonts better, whatever it is. But Whenever it comes to writing a script or writing out social media posts, I pull out my phone and I voice to text things because whenever I go back in and edit it, it makes it feel much more authentic than just when I'm typing the words in my head. So that's one of my go-tos is just voice to texting it and then going in and editing it. And I won't lie, that's how I wrote a lot of my papers in college. That was very much.
You're probably talking to one of the bigger proponents you'll ever meet of voice to text. And I feel like in some cases I was born at the wrong time because I had to do a lot of typing and hated it, was never good at it. And finally that technology, there was a program probably literally 25 years ago called Dragon Naturally Speaking. Dragon was the company, Naturally Speaking was the product. And I remember vividly, this is like old PC and talking into a headset, trying to get it to, voice to text, and it was just miserable. It would maybe get half of it right. And now it's, the tool that I use is one called Voice Notes.
Okay.
It's an app that is designed to be great at voice to text. And the fidelity is like 95%. It gets place names wrong. It gets proper names wrong. But other than that, it's great.
It's pretty solid.
So it's a lot of like speak it into voice notes, copy it. And they even have a cleanup feature, which is somehow AI based, where if you hit cleanup, it'll basically make it even better. So
there you go.
Yeah,
but see, I'm just using Google Docs.
Google Docs is pretty great too. What I found, the problem I was running into is all of the apps, whether I was voice to text in Evernote or Gmail, it always felt a little clunky. And I was like, where's one place I can go where I can hit a button and just do this? So it's like I do a lot of driving voice to text, a lot of dictation when I'm driving. And it's kind of, it's not real safe when you're driving. Let's open up Google Docs. Let's open up a new document.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
With voice notes, it's just like hit a button and you drive. And if the screen goes blank, it doesn't matter. So I guess I just stole, that thunder from you. But voice to text, yes. Yes. Well, Mel, this has all been really great. I really applaud you for having a career that's kind of baked into your biography a little bit. That sounds fun. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come speak with us about your career.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sure. And next time you're here, we'll have to make sure that Emily's in the office.
I know. She's killing me.
Well, she'll be back. And thanks to everyone who took the opportunity to listen to this episode of the Asher Marketing Podcast. We'll be back next time with another great guest, and we hope you'll join us then. Thank you for listening to the Asher Marketing Podcast. The Asher Marketing Podcast is a production of Asher Agency, a full-service agency for franchises and co-ops, colleges and universities, financial service companies, healthcare organizations, and government agencies. We'll be back next time with another great guest, and we hope you'll join us then.